is there anything that you'd like to wrap up with as far as EQ, IQ, leadership, anything?
Yeah, so I'll just add that, today we just talked about two of multiple elements of emotional intelligence. There's 15 different competencies, and they all balance each other out in different ways. So I love diving into emotional intelligence with clients, because I think that one of the most powerful things about understanding our own emotions and engaging with others is putting the language around what we're doing, how we're feeling. That really helps build self-awareness. So just, I guess the one thing I would add is this is just the tip of the iceberg of where you can go with the concept of emotional intelligence. And it's all so important to leadership, whether you're leading in a company or in your community or in your family, your church, whatever. It's just all super important.
One of the things we always like to do at the end of the call is kind of invite whoever the speaker is to kind of talk a little more about the practice, what they have going on, or put a spotlight on anything that they would like to do. And you had mentioned earlier that if anyone's interested in kind of taking some of these assessments, you
Oh,
can
yeah.
help them. But you also just talked about how this is the tip of the iceberg. So if anyone's listening to this, or you just want to kind of broadcast like a little more about like what you offer, or if you have programs, or I know you have a couple book recommendations,
Yeah.
I'd like to learn more about not only how people can contact you and where, but how they could work with you, and not only maybe individually or as a team,
Yeah.
and how you could kind of provide some of these resources to them.
Yeah. So the best way to find me is on LinkedIn, Valerie Jennings. Um, and then I also have my company name is called How Do You Manage? And so you can find me, I find my website that way too, or my email is just val@howdoyoumanage. And so really people work with me most on management and leadership coaching. So a lot of times, people in the workplace hire me to come help them be better leaders, better managers, and to work with their teams. And I think one of my favorite things to do is pull together customized workshops for leaders and their teams based on what I see and hear is going on with their team. Um, and I do that through, like an emotional intelligence certification is something I have on my toolbox myself. So what I love to do is kind of listen to a client, figure out what they need, and then just reach into my bag of tools and pull things together in service of them. And so I am open to chat with people about these concepts. I love just having informational chats. People can, find me or reach out to me and ask for some of my time. Because as you can tell, I get really excited about these topics.
And as a last thing, you recommended looking up Kim Scott on YouTube.
Yeah.
You recommended the EQ Edge book and
Yep.
the Radical Candor. Is there anything else that you would point out to people, either book, movie, training resource? You said you have an EQ certification.
Yeah, so there's a certification that I have through, it's called Multi-Health Systems. It's called MHS, and they certify people in all different kinds of competencies. And I really, really like their emotional intelligence certification they have, and I've been through that. So you learn how to do the assessment, you learn all the different competencies, and I use that in my work so much. Whether it's, it's funny, I don't even use the assessment that much, but just the concepts of emotional intelligence, I think, are fascinating. And really, I find that when you can give people language of what they're feeling and what they're doing, it sort of takes some of the angst or some of the fear out of it. And so that's a great resource, is to look up the MHS certification for emotional intelligence as well. And it's based on that same book that I shared. It's all the same work. So that's another thing that I would recommend people do. Yeah, so the book by Kim Scott, her YouTube videos. I also mentioned Daniel Pink. Daniel Pink has some great videos on YouTube. If you just Google up, or if you just search him on YouTube, there's some really great videos he's done on leadership and management in the workplace that are very easy to understand, very clear, good stuff.